The Evil Dead franchise will continue to expand after the success of Evil Dead Rise with a spin-off, but the potential return of one of Evil Dead Rise's final girls is complicating the franchise's future. As the horror genre continues to ride the wave of legacy sequels and reboots, and sometimes a combination of both, one of the latest additions to it is the Evil Dead franchise. After Fede Alvarez's reboot/reimagining in 2013, simply titled Evil Dead, the franchise was revived with a new movie, Evil Dead Rise, in 2023. Directed by Lee Cronin, Evil Dead Rise is separate from Alvarez's soft reboot and Ash Williams, Bruce Campbell, previous adventures, instead introducing new characters and horrors. Evil Dead Rise was a critical and commercial success, and this has made it possible for the franchise to keep expanding. In February 2024, a new Evil Dead movie was announced, with Sebastian Vanecek now serving as director and Sam Raimi and Robert Tappert as producers. However, the future of the franchise just got confusing and a bit complicated after the potential return of one Evil Dead Rise star. Beth's return would make new Evil Dead spin-off a sequel. The next Evil Dead movie is being described as a spin-off. The next Evil Dead movie wasn't announced as a sequel to Evil Dead Rise, Army of Darkness, or any other previous movie, and instead, it was described as a spin-off. Not being a sequel shows that the team behind Evil Dead Rise learned from what made the movie so great, which is that it had no ties to the previous movies, yet it had the same elements that make an Evil Dead movie. Being a spin-off means that the new Evil Dead movie will introduce new characters, but as it turns out, it could see the return of one of Evil Dead Rise's final girls. Speaking to Comic Book, Evil Dead Rise star Lily Sullivan spoke about a possible return in the new Evil Dead movie. Sullivan revealed there have been many conversations, many alt paths, many possibilities, and that whatever comes to fruition, she's excited about it. Sullivan added that she can't say anything about those plans, but it's all literally up to the universe of the Evil Dead gods. Sullivan's return would make her the new Ash Williams in the Evil Dead franchise, but it would make the new movie a sequel rather than a spin-off. Although details about the new Evil Dead movie haven't been revealed, calling it a spin-off means that it's a standalone movie and not a sequel to Evil Dead Rise, essentially turning this part of the franchise into an anthology. However, Sullivan's return as Beth wouldn't fit the concept of a spin-off and would turn the new movie into a sequel, unless she plays another character. Evil Dead Rise subtly gave closure to Beth's story. Beth and Cassie's story got a good ending. Lily Sullivan covered in blood pointing a gun in Evil Dead Rise. Beth is a guitar technician who, after learning she was pregnant, visited her sister Ellie, Alyssa Sutherland, a tattoo artist and single mother to teenagers Danny, Morgan Davies, Bridget, Gabrielle Eccles, and child Cassie, Nell Fisher. After the city was hit by an earthquake, Danny found a concealed chamber in their building's parking lot that kept various mysterious things, including the Natrum Demontu and recordings, through which an evil force was unleashed, and the first one to be possessed was Ellie. Bridget and Danny, as well as their neighbors, soon became possessed too, and it was up to Beth and Cassie to defeat them and find a way out of the building. At the end of Evil Dead Rise, the bodies of all those who were possessed merged into a multi-limbed creature known as the Marauder, but Beth and Cassie forced the creature into a wood chipper, killing it. Beth and Cassie were last seen leaving the building together, while the evil force found a new victim, Jessica, who was seen in the opening sequence. While Evil Dead Rise made way for a continuation after the evil force got a new victim, the same can't be said for Beth and Cassie. By defeating the Marauder, Beth and Cassie got rid of the evil force, which is why it found a new victim, thus giving closure to them and letting them move on together. The Evil Dead franchise would benefit from a spin-off rather than a sequel. Evil Dead Rise showed what the best path for the franchise is. Ellie and Ash from the Evil Dead franchise. The Evil Dead franchise is already an anthology in its own way. Evil Dead 2 retconned various elements from the first movie, and Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead isn't a remake, though it took the same setting and premise but with different characters and monsters. Evil Dead Rise is a separate reboot without Ash Williams, Mia Allen, or any past characters but with the elements that make an Evil Dead movie, giving some freshness to the franchise without losing its essence. Evil Dead Rise proved that spin-off/unrelated movies are the best path for the franchise instead of sequels, which allow it to expand and explore other parts of its mythology with new, fun characters. Aside from its director and producers, details about the next Evil Dead movie are unknown, so it's to be seen if it will truly be a spin-off and how similar it will be to past movies.